Hi, I'm Brian Jackson, editor of ITbusiness.ca. I'm here at Dreamforce 2013, and I'm here with Terry from Deloitte. Welcome.
Thanks, Brian. It's great to be here. It's quite an exciting show.
Okay, Terry is Chief Innovation Officer at Deloitte, which is a rare title, and maybe just sort of define that for us. What does that mean at Deloitte?
So my job has two parts. One is actually innovating inside Deloitte, so making sure that we have new products, new services that we take to market. And then the other piece is helping our clients innovate. So two sides, inside and outside. But really at the end of the day, what this conference is all about, making sure that we're customer focused and we're delivering the right kind of capabilities. Everything from new products to new services to new actual ways of interacting with people.
Terry, I've been watching the content here, the keynotes, and following along with all these Salesforce One announcements that have been made, and I'm thinking to myself, all this technology is great, but it's not really helpful unless you make that organizational change to push the adoption of it and get employees using these technological tools that will actually benefit them in their roles. How does an organization that wants to implement something, a major technology project, whether it be Salesforce One or anything else that could really help a organization becomes mobile and more efficient, what is some important things to do to make sure that you're actually achieving that?
We spend a lot of time on buy-in. It's a classical example of people process technology. It's nice to have wonderful technology like Salesforce brings to organizations, but if you haven't got the process sorted out and you don't have the people sorted out, you're going to be in trouble and it won't get take up. So what do we do to get the people bought in? Communication, number one. Communicate. Get them bought in early so they understand what you're trying to accomplish with the initiative. And then actually have them involved in the building and the testing and the thinking of what the solutions are. I think solutions like Salesforce have done a great job of actually rapidly engaging the customers and bringing their needs to the forefront. But you have to do that change management aspect or you'll have technology that sits on the shelf.
Salesforce also introduces this interesting aspect where you're having technology that maybe somebody like the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer, might consider to purchase, and they're going maybe outside of the traditional IT channel to implement technology in the organization. What do you think is the best way for the CIO, the person that's in charge of the Chief Information Officer at the organization, can work with the marketing department and the CMO to make sure these implementations are successful?
I get to spend a lot of time with CIOs, and the challenge that they have is making sure that they're enabling the best business capability for the organization, whether it's a bank or a telco or a retailer. So they have to think about partnering with their business partners. So how do they actually get into that? So whether the solution is going to be something that's going to be implemented internally or whether it's software as a service and a solution that's going to be implemented in the cloud, IT needs to be critically thinking that through. I see some of the IT leaders that are still staying inside their own shell and saying, well, it's got to be inside our organization. We're not willing to go into the cloud. The issue they then create is their business partners will go externally and they'll figure out how to buy the capability. If they partner with them, they help them select strong vendors that are well architected, effectively engineered for safe and secure data. Then they can be a true business partner with them and go forward. And it's a question of what the solution for the particular problem is. Lots of the studies have been saying that the chief marketing officers are going to control more budget than the actual CIOs, and we're starting to see that where marketing and sales become a fundamental competitive advantage driver for organizations, and they're going to wield a very significant chunk of the budgets in the organizations.
Yeah, that's something that Gartner talks about, and I hear a lot of people discuss that issue of the CMO controlling more technology spend. And I think an important message to get across is that it's not a competition between the CMO and CIO, right? It's more an opportunity to collaborate.
No, exactly. The CMO is just another business partner, shareholder, stakeholder for the CIO. So whether it's, I spend a lot of time in financial services and in banking, and so whether it's the retail bank or the insurance group or the wealth management group or the CMO, they're just one more stakeholder that the CIO needs to address, and they need to think about them that way because it should be a partnership.
When we talk about innovation these days, often the conversation turns to mobile devices and BYOD management, enabling employees on the mobile devices that they're carrying around with them and working on all the time anyway. From your experience here at this conference, what are you seeing that could help different organizations address that challenge?
the whole mobile space and big data for that matter have caught some of the IT organizations by surprise, I think. And so people are still thinking in legacy terms. I've got to build it on my web platform, and then I put it into my call center, and then I think about mobile. We're seeing a lot of organizations now focusing on mobile first, maybe mobile only. So thinking about how do I actually build the right solution for the problem and take it to the device. If I'm out and I want to do moving money around, I need it on my iPhone or on my Android device or on my BlackBerry, even as a Canadian, right? So having that capability is very important. So thinking about how do you deliver that. There are many organizations here that are looking at their devices and saying it's immediately available on all of those platforms. And Salesforce itself is nicely architected so that it can be instantly available on an Android or an iPhone or on a BlackBerry type of world. So that's really important, that we aren't architecting for silos or architecting for specific individual platforms, because we can no longer, what we're learning in the age of the consumer, we can no longer control what device. We can't tell them they have to be on iOS, right? Whether they're employees or whether they're our customers, it's a heterogeneous world that we live in.
Yeah, and who knows what operating system we'll all be using in 5 years or
That's
10
right.
years, right? You got to have something that is flexible enough to move to whatever device people want to use.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and another point I picked up on was last night when Marissa Mayer was talking with Mark Benioff. She was talking about pushing the mobile transformation at Yahoo as an organization. Now, of course, they're developing consumer-facing apps, but she was talking about growing the size of the team from 60 to 400 people,
exactly.
making it a real priority at Yahoo. And I was thinking, for enterprises that are trying to push the same sort of innovation, do they need a certain team that's just focused on making sure that mobile productivity is happening?
I think what's going to be interesting is the organizational model. Do all of the enterprises need to have their own mobile development shop internally, or do they leverage other players? And whether it's crowdsourcing those solutions or whether it's working with large-scale systems integrators like us, we've created a whole group called Deloitte Digital to tackle this exact problem, and we do it with partnerships. We have our own capabilities, and we've bought companies like Ubermind that help build the App Store with Apple. But we've also said we need some of that capability inside. So combination of leveraging third parties and doing some of the core capabilities yourself.
Final question, what's your top takeaway from the Dreamforce conference?
I think the dawn of the cloud era is really here, and the organizations, if you look at it, an organization and a conference like this where people have to pay from around the world to come, their own money, and it's not cheap to come, right? And to have 135,000 people registered, and I don't know how many there are here, but every session I've gone to has been very full. That is actually the people in their organization speaking for themselves. So this platform, this type of solution, is actually getting hold, and we need to be thinking about how we take advantage of that for all kinds of different problems.
Thanks so much for telling me about this.
My pleasure. Thanks.